You know that feeling when you're in a conversation, fighting to be heard. You start to speak and someone just steamrolls right over you. It's frustrating, it's dismissive, and honestly, it can make you wonder why you even bothered. So, I decided to run a little experiment. For 7 days, I followed one simple rule. I would pause for 2 full seconds before answering any important question or after making a key point. It's a tiny change, but the results were immediate and powerful. People didn't just stop interrupting me. They started leaning in. They actually started listening. This 2-second pause is a silent superpower, and I'm going to show you exactly how to use it to command respect in any room. The idea was simple. For 1 week, I committed to a few small tweaks in how I communicate, all designed to project more authority and control. This wasn't about faking confidence. It was about seeing if changing my patterns could genuinely change how people treated me. The core of the challenge rested on 4 rules. First, and most importantly, pause for 2 seconds before responding to any real question. Second, speak in shorter, clearer sentences. Third, stop over-explaining my decisions unless someone asked for a reason. And finally, take another 2-second pause after making a critical point, just letting it hang in the air for a moment. The psychology behind this is pretty straightforward. Rushing your words and over-explaining can signal nervousness or a need for approval. On the flip side, deliberate, measured speech projects thoughtfulness and control. That pause is the key. It's not just empty space, it's a tool that gives your brain a moment to switch from an emotional reaction to a logical response. I tracked everything, and the results can be broken down into 3 powerful outcomes. The first and most startling change was how it stopped interruptions cold. We've all been there. You're in a meeting, laying out an idea, and just as you get to the good part, a colleague cuts in. It feels like a subtle signal that their thoughts are more important than yours. This used to happen to me all the time. On day 3 of my experiment, I was in one of those chaotic brainstorming meetings. I had a counter-argument to a popular but flawed idea. Normally, I would have tried to jump in, speaking quickly to get my point out before someone else stole the floor. This time, I did the exact opposite. I let the other person finish, leaned forward just a bit, and then held the silence for 2 full seconds. It felt awkward, maybe even uncomfortably long. But in that tiny window, every eye in the room turned to me. The space was mine. When I finally spoke, my sentences were short and deliberate. The primary risk here, I said, then paused again, is alienating our core user base. I laid out my reasoning in 3 quick points, with a pause after each one. Nobody interrupted. Not once. After I finished, there was another moment of silence as everyone actually processed what I'd said. It was a revelation. A well-timed pause creates a tension that people are hesitant to break. It signals that you're in control and what you're saying is important, which shifts people from waiting to talk to actively listening. The silence acts as a non-verbal cue that you own the floor. By the end of the week, I realized I was no longer fighting for space in a conversation. The pause was creating it for me. Before this experiment, I never realized how much my speech patterns gave away my insecurities. In big conversations, I used to speak way too fast, leaning on filler words like and like while my brain tried to catch up. I would over-explain everything, justifying a decision before anyone even questioned it. A classic people-pleasing trap that can make you look less competent. That verbal rush signals nervousness, not confidence. The 2-second pause completely changes this dynamic. It becomes a powerful replacement for all those filler words. Instead of an EEM, there's just deliberate silence. This simple switch transforms you from someone who seems hesitant into someone who appears thoughtful. It gives the impression you're choosing your words carefully, not just reacting. I saw this play out during a contract negotiation on day 5. I got an offer that was lower than I expected. The old me would have immediately launched into a rambling defensive monologue about why I deserved more. Instead, I used the pause. After they made the offer, I just stayed silent for a full 2, maybe 3, seconds while holding eye contact. The silence was deafening. It creates a vacuum of discomfort, and in a negotiation, the person who rushes to fill that vacuum often loses. Without me saying a word, The other person started to look self-conscious. They actually broke the silence first, adding, "But of course, that's just a starting point." When I finally did speak, my voice was calm and measured. "I appreciate the offer," I said, followed by another pause. "However, the value I bring aligns with a figure closer to 10th. The pause did the heavy lifting. It projected unshakable confidence and made my counteroffer sound like a firm reality, not a hopeful wish. It's the difference between sending a carefully crafted email and a series of frantic rush texts. One commands respect, the other signals panic. If you're already thinking about the meetings or conversations where you could use this, do me a favor and hit the like button. It's a great signal for me to create more practical videos just like this one. The final, and maybe the most profound change, was the newfound weight of my words. We live in a world of constant noise, where everyone's attention is split. To really be heard, your words have to cut through. Speaking quickly is like trying to hand someone a stack of 10 books at once. They're probably going to drop them all. Speaking slowly, with deliberate pauses, is like handing them one book at a time. It gives them a moment to feel its weight before you hand them the next. The 2-second pause creates anticipation. When you stop talking, your listener's brain wonders what's coming next. That silence draws them in, making them focus more intently on your next words. Your message becomes more memorable because you're giving them the mental space to actually process it. I felt this on the last day of my experiment. I had to give some difficult feedback to a team member. In the past, I would have been nervous, probably softening the message too much or just rushing to get it over with. This time, I structured the conversation around the pause. I started by stating my intention calmly. Then I delivered the first piece of feedback, and I paused. I just let the silence do its work. The team member didn't get defensive, they just listened. I could literally see them processing the information. The pause prevented an emotional reaction and encouraged a reflective one instead. This calm, deliberate delivery signaled that this wasn't an attack, but a well-reasoned assessment, which made them take it more seriously. By the end, the feedback was received not as a criticism, but as important information. The pauses gave my words a sense of gravity. They turned a potentially difficult confrontation into a respectful, productive dialogue. That's the real magic of the pause. It's not about the silence itself, but how that silence frames and elevates the words around it. So, after a week of strategically pausing, what's the takeaway? This tiny habit completely changed the dynamic of my conversations. It's a technique that eliminates interruptions, projects unshakable confidence, and makes every word you say land with more impact. It proves that real authority doesn't come from speaking more, but from mastering the moments when you say nothing at all. Now, I want to turn this into a challenge for you. The 2-second pause challenge. For the next 7 days, I want you to try this. Before you answer an important question, or after you make a key point, just count silently to 2. It will feel awkward at first. You'll want to fill the silence, but don't. Notice how people stop interrupting. Notice how they lean in, and notice the new respect you get when you speak. If you found this guide helpful and want more practical techniques to build confidence and command respect, make sure you watch my next video on the 5 body language mistakes that instantly make people disrespect you. You can click on the screen to watch it now. Thanks for watching, and go own that silence.